So I'm asking about Donald Trump's decision, to actually strike Syria with bombs. One of them that I know of, and then basically it's unconstitutional. And I think that the anti-Trumpers should be going. I'm still kind of pro-Trump, I'll admit it. And I'm still I'm on the Trump train by a pinky, and I'm kind of giving you guys this one, right? It's impeachable, like what he just did. And I think that the anti-war party of the Democrats that was around during the Bush administration has completely gone. And I want to see it come back, at least people understanding what is globalism. So I want to ask you guys, do you guys know about globalization? What is globalism to you? Got a loud truck going by.
I'd say that's pretty tough to define in a couple sentences, but the idea that we live in a world culture now that exists beyond borders and a system of economic commerce that exists beyond countries into global systems, we have to understand that things such as trade and economic issues and policy issues affect people in countries, but also across the world. So you can't make a single decision without understanding that a single decision affects people across the globe.
Right. So linking economies like NAFTA, Clinton, signing NAFTA, linking and selling actually our corporations over to China, was negative for United States economy. So it kind of linked us at the hip to China. Do you think that was kind of sabotage, or do you think that was sort of like a friendly nudge into a global civilization? It's for our own good. And do you know about the Royal Institute of International Affairs as a follow-up question?
Both of these are kind of out of my wheelhouse and out of what I understand. I couldn't really...
So the Royal Institute of International Affairs, they talk about global government, basically creating a global government no matter what, making a paradigm where we have to accept globalism, we have to accept globalization, because at this point, like you said, we're so late in the game, we're so linked at the hip to these other economies that we really have been given no choice, that they've done it through stealth. And I think that's the problem with globalism. Do you agree that we should all have the people vote on it? And if it was a global government, who would run it?
Those questions I can't have answers to.
Who would vote on that?
Right. There's nobody voting on a system of global government. They're just creating one behind the scenes. The Rockefellers, for example, were funding operations to create global government.
I think that's all about community accountability, and we have reached a point where we're no longer holding certain people accountable to the decisions they're making. So I don't know if it's, when it comes to the conscious choices that are made in these decisions, I can't venture to say that they're conscious, but
well, they're definitely not smart. I mean, because we're basically giving up our sovereignty. Can you explain sovereignty?
Well, it's hard to talk about sovereignty from the standpoint of being in a country that has violated so many other nations.
And that's my whole point with Trump right now. It's like he's going against his base that we're anti-globalist by attacking Syria this way, allowing John Bolton to basically be his national security advisor, which is a George Bushy, who I was definitely vehemently against, completely, during the Bush administration, which is why I thought I was a Democrat. But then I learned about the Rockefellers, I learned about eugenics in America, how they've been soft-killing Americans through the food and the water, with fluoride, mercury. It's not just fluoride in the water. People will tell you about the fluoride, but there's more than just that. So what do you think about eugenics and the Rockefeller Foundation and these globalists that pledge to depopulate the world so that it's easier to create a global government? Yeah.
When you depopulate a world, what is there to create a government for?
Right, and so it's really a totalitarian plan that's been around for over 150 years, the Cecil Rhodes Foundation, Rhodes Scholarship. This is what, people like Rachel Maddow went through college. They were Rhodes Scholars, and they pledged to have a global government no matter what. So they would go against our Constitution, our sovereignty, our nationality, our nationalism, just our identity as a people, and actually melt us along with this global identity. And so we wouldn't have the rights of the Constitution anymore. There would be sort of like Rex Fury, like in Rome. It was like a Roman law where it's basically a fascist totalitarianism. It's not this kumbaya Star Trek idea of a global government. I think we could have that if we had technology released like Nikola Tesla had, free energy, Wardenclyffe Tower, linking the ionosphere down to the ground and grounding the ionosphere so you could have free, unlimited energy. And that was covered up by these same people that wanted, that wanted a global government. Like, that's why Westinghouse had to fund him instead of, Edison and J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan and Edison wanted to create a global enslavement grid. And actually, J.P. Morgan was in Jekyll Island, Georgia, when they planned the Federal Reserve System in 1913, so that they could have a totalitarian stepping stone. They would use us sort of like different stages of rocket boosters to get to space. We would be like a stage of rocket booster, and we would just fall away, and they would be able to have their breakaway civilization. So it wouldn't include us. A global government, I think, from all my research, would not include us. It would actually just be for the royal families, the elite. So have you ever heard anything like that before?
We don't have too much more time to talk. We actually had to get home. This is a really interesting conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
We have an event on Saturday.
Oh, okay. Here, I'll put this on there.
Yeah.
Check that out, guys. All right.